My girlfriend said she wanted to see other people, but still keep me around, so I agreed. She laughed, thinking she'd have all the fun. Until I walked in with her best friend. Her smile dropped, and she screamed, not her. I just smirked and said, "You started this. My name's Mike, and I'm a 34-year-old software engineer living in Boston. I met my girlfriend, Sarah, during our college years at Northeastern University. She was studying graphic design, and I was deep into computer science. We met at a mutual friend's party, and there was an instant connection. We started dating shortly after and moved in together in a cozy apartment in Cambridge after graduation. For the first couple of years, everything was great. We shared common interests, traveled together, and supported each other's careers. But as time went on, I noticed changes in Sarah. She became more distant, spent more time on her phone, and started going out with her friends more often without inviting me. One evening, she sat me down and said she wanted to talk. She told me that she felt like she was missing out on life experiences and wanted to see other people. However, she didn't want to break up and hoped we could have an open relationship. I was shocked and hurt, but I loved her and didn't want to lose her. After some hesitation, I agreed. At first, it was tough. Sarah would go on dates while I stayed home, trying to distract myself with work or hobbies. She seemed happier, while I felt like I was fading into the background. One night, she came home late, laughing and glowing from her date. I asked her about it, and she gushed about how amazing he was. It stung, but I kept my feelings to myself. Then, something unexpected happened. One night, while Sarah was out, I got a text from her best friend, Jessica. Jessica and I had always been friendly, but we'd never hung out alone. She asked if I wanted to grab a drink. Feeling lonely and a bit spiteful, I agreed. We met at a bar in downtown Boston. The atmosphere was lively, and the drinks flowed. We talked, laughed, and shared stories. There was an undeniable chemistry between us. One drink led to another, and before I knew it, we were back at her place. That night, lines were crossed that shouldn't have been. The next morning, guilt consumed me. Jessica felt the same. We agreed it was a mistake and decided to keep it between us. But as days went by, we couldn't deny our attraction. We started seeing each other secretly, always cautious, always looking over our shoulders. One evening, Sarah mentioned she was going on a weekend trip with her new friend. Seeing an opportunity, I invited Jessica over. We spent the weekend together, enjoying each other's company without the usual secrecy. It felt right, but the guilt was ever present. Sarah returned on Sunday evening. Jessica had just left, and I was cleaning up when Sarah walked in. She looked around, noticing the 2 wine glasses on the table. "Had company?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. "Yeah, just a friend," I replied, trying to sound casual. She didn't press further, but I could tell she was curious. Over the next few weeks, Sarah continued her dates, and I continued seeing Jessica. The double life was exhausting, but I felt justified. After all, Sarah was the one who wanted to see other people first. Then came the night, everything unraveled. Sarah had planned a girls' night out with Jessica and some other friends. I knew about it, and had made plans to stay home and catch up on some work. Around 10 p.m., I got a frantic call from Jessica. "You need to come to the club," she whispered urgently. "What's going on?" I asked, heart pounding. "Just come. Now." I grabbed my coat and rushed to the club they were at in the heart of Boston. The place was packed, music thumping, lights flashing. I spotted Jessica near the bar, looking distressed. "What's wrong?" I asked, scanning the crowd for Sarah. "Sarah's here with her date. He's getting handsy, and she's too drunk to notice," Jessica explained. A surge of protectiveness washed over me. I pushed through the crowd and found Sarah dancing with the tall guy. His hands were all over her, and she was laughing, oblivious to his advances. "Hey," I shouted, stepping between them. "Back off." The guy looked me up and down, smirking. "And who are you?" "Her boyfriend," I replied, glaring. Sarah blinked, trying to focus. "What's going on?" she slurred. "I'm taking you home," I said firmly. She resisted, but I managed to get her out of the club and into a cab. Jessica followed, concern etched on her face. Back at our apartment, Sarah passed out on the couch. Jessica and I sat in the kitchen, the weight of the situation pressing down on us. "This isn't working," Jessica said softly. "I know," I admitted. "But what do we do?" "We need to tell her," she said, eyes meeting mine. The thought terrified me, but I knew she was right. The next morning, Sarah woke up with a hangover and a bad mood. I sat her down, Jessica by my side. "Sarah, there's something we need to tell you," I began. She looked between us, confusion turning to realization. "No," she whispered. "Not her." "I'm sorry," I said, "but you wanted to see other people, and I." She stood up abruptly, knocking over her glass. "You were supposed to wait for me. Not with her." Tears streamed down her face. Jessica reached out, but Sarah recoiled. "Get out," she said to both of us. "Sarah, please," I pleaded. "Out." Jessica and I left, the door slamming behind us. I could hear Sarah's sobs through the door, each one a dagger to my heart. In the following days, Sarah moved out, cutting all ties with both Jessica and me. Jessica and I tried to make our relationship work, but the guilt and fallout were too much. We parted ways amicably, both carrying scars from the experience. Reflecting on everything, I realized that open relationships aren't for everyone. Communication is crucial, and boundaries must be clear. We were naive to think we could navigate such a complex arrangement without consequences. To anyone considering opening up their relationship, think long and hard about it. Ensure both parties are genuinely on board and understand the potential pitfalls. Love is precious, and trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild. I didn't hear from Sarah for weeks after that night. It was like she vanished. Her social media went dark, mutual friends stopped reaching out, and even Jessica stopped texting me. I wasn't sure if she cut everyone off or if everyone chose her side. Probably both. I went through the motions, woke up, went to work, came home, stared at the walls. The apartment was too quiet without Sarah's music or her late-night ramen cooking. Everything reminded me of her. Then, out of nowhere, I got a message from a mutual friend, Josh. It was just one line. You need to see this. Attached was a screenshot of Sarah's new Instagram account. I clicked. Her profile picture was of her and a guy, same dude from the club. His arm was around her, and they looked cozy. Caption said, "When you stop accepting crumbs, you get the whole cake." I felt like I got punched in the gut. I wasn't sure if I was mad or embarrassed or just sad. Maybe all three. I kept scrolling. Every photo was a slap to the face, her smiling, kissing this guy, posing at places we used to go together. I didn't know what hurt more, the betrayal or the fact that she looked like she'd already moved on. Then came the real twist. A few days later, Jessica called me. I hadn't heard her voice since the day we left Sarah's apartment. "Hey," she said, her voice low. "I need to talk to you. In person." I met her at a quiet coffee shop in Somerville. She looked tired, like she hadn't slept. Her eyes were puffy, and she kept looking over her shoulder like she didn't want to be seen. "I think Sarah's lying to people," she said. "About everything." I frowned. "What do you mean?" "She's telling people that you cheated on her first. That you were seeing someone behind her back for months, even before she brought up the open relationship. She's saying she only did it because you broke her heart first." I blinked. "That's not true." "You know it's not." Jessica nodded. "I know, but she's got people believing it. She even told Josh that I seduced you to ruin her relationship. Like I was trying to steal you." I felt my chest tighten. Why would she say that? Jessica looked down. "Because she found out I was pregnant. And I think she's trying to destroy my reputation before I decide what to do." My jaw dropped. "You're pregnant?" She nodded slowly. "I just found out last week. I didn't know how to tell you." My head was spinning. Everything that had felt like a distant past was now slamming back into the present. Sarah, lying to her friends. Jessica, carrying something that could be mine. I didn't know what to say. My mind was full of noise. "Are you sure it's mine?" I asked, trying not to sound cold. Jessica gave me a sharp look. "Yes, I haven't been with anyone else." I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet," she said. "But I wanted to be honest with you. You deserve to know. And you also deserve to know what Sarah's doing. She's turning everyone against you." That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Sarah's words, that stupid caption, the way she laughed when she thought she could have her cake and eat it too. And now she was rewriting the story, painting herself as the victim, making me the villain. And worse, there might be a baby involved. My baby. I didn't know what the next move was. But I knew one thing. I wasn't going to stay quiet anymore. A week passed after Jessica told me she was pregnant. I was still trying to wrap my head around everything. I hadn't told anyone. I was avoiding calls, ignoring texts. I was trying to keep my head down at work, but I was a mess. I couldn't focus. Every time my phone buzzed, I thought it was going to be Sarah posting something else or Jessica saying she made a decision. Then, one afternoon, I got an email at work. Not a text. Not a call. An email. From Sarah. Subject line: "You think you're the victim?" My heart dropped. I clicked it open. The message was short, but it hit hard. "I warned you. I gave you a chance to be honest. But you lied. You snuck around with my best friend. You humiliated me. So now, I'm done playing nice. Hope you're ready." No signature. No context. Just that. I sat frozen for a few seconds, staring at the screen. What did she mean by, "I'm done playing nice"? Then my work phone rang. It was HR. "Mike, do you have a minute to come to the office?" I walked down, confused and nervous. I had no idea what it was about. When I got there, my manager and someone from HR were sitting at the table, looking serious. "We've received a complaint," the HR rep said. "Someone submitted an anonymous report accusing you of inappropriate conduct with a former intern." "What?" I blinked. "Who?" "We can't disclose that," she said. But the report was detailed, and there are screenshots of text that seemed personal and suggestive. My stomach flipped. I'd never even texted an intern like that. I didn't know what they were talking about. They said they'd have to suspend me while they looked into it. I left the building in a daze. My mind was racing. Who would do this? Then it hit me. Sarah. It was the only thing that made sense. The email. The threat. The timing. I called Jessica immediately. "She's trying to ruin my life," I said. "She just got me suspended from work." Jessica was quiet for a second. "Mike, there's something else." I almost laughed. "What now?" "She came to see me. Yesterday." "What? Why?" "She showed up at my apartment. She said she knew I was pregnant. She told me if I didn't convince you to say the baby wasn't yours, she'd make both of our lives hell." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She said she already started. that she had leverage, and that you'd lose your job and your friends before she was done. I sat down on the curb outside my office building. My world was spinning. She's not letting this go, I said. She's going nuclear. Jessica sighed. She's angry, Mike. But this is next level. I spent the next few days trying to figure out what to do. I hired a lawyer. I started collecting every message, every screenshot, anything that showed the truth. Jessica gave a statement. Even Josh, after seeing how far Sarah was going, started to distance himself from her. But the damage was done. My name was already being whispered around the office. A couple of friends stopped responding to my texts. I felt like a ghost walking through my own life. Then, the biggest twist yet. Jessica called me again. I went to the doctor today, she said. For the first ultrasound. Okay, I said, unsure what was coming next. They said I'm about 9 weeks. Right, she paused. Mike, we've only been together for a little over 6 weeks. I didn't say anything. It's not yours. I felt like the ground fell out from under me. It's not yours, she said again, softer this time. I thought it was. I really did. But the dates don't line up. I sat there, completely numb. So who? I don't know. It could be my ex. We were broken up, but right before you and I. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't lie on purpose. I really thought it was yours. I didn't even know how to respond. Everything felt like it was breaking apart, piece by piece. Sarah was on a warpath. Jessica was pregnant with someone else's baby. My job was hanging by a thread, and I had no idea what was going to happen next. I sat in my apartment, blinds half closed, pizza box untouched on the table, the TV playing some random show I wasn't watching. The silence was loud. I had hit bottom and kept digging. First, I got blindsided by Sarah asking for an open relationship. Then I betrayed her trust. Then she blew up my life. And now, the one person I thought might still be on my side just told me the baby I was mentally preparing for wasn't even mine. I didn't even have energy to be angry anymore. I was just tired. Tired of the lies, the guilt, the games. I wanted it all to stop. But life wasn't done kicking. 2 days after Jessica's call, I got another email. It was from Sarah again. Meet me. 7 p.m. Cafe Milano. Don't be late. I stared at it for a long time before replying. Why? She replied immediately. You want it to end? Show up. I almost didn't go. But something in me needed it, closure, maybe. Or justice. Or just to look her in the eye and tell her what she'd done to me. When I got to Cafe Milano, she was already there, sitting in the back corner like she was trying to hide. She wore sunglasses inside. I walked over and sat down. She didn't smile. Didn't say hi. You think I don't know you've been talking to people? She said, pulling off her glasses. Her eyes were red. She looked like she hadn't slept either. I know what you've been doing, I said calmly. Getting me suspended. Lying to our friends. Making up some fake scandal to ruin me. She leaned in. You humiliated me, Mike. In front of everyone. With her. You told me you wanted to see other people, I said. You laughed when I said okay. You thought you could do whatever you wanted, and I'd just wait around. You started this. But not with my best friend, she shouted, loud enough for people to look. Anyone else, fine. But her. A couple near us whispered to each other. One of the baristas paused what he was doing. You know what the worst part is? She hissed. She knew I was vulnerable. She waited for her chance. I raised an eyebrow. Sarah, she didn't plan this. Neither of us did. And if you really cared, you wouldn't have tried to destroy my job. That intern lie? You crossed a line. Her face twisted. You took everything from me. No. You gave it away. Then, from behind me, I heard a voice. Is this a bad time? I turned. It was Jessica. I hadn't told her where I was going. She must have seen the email on my laptop the night she came by to drop off a box of things I'd left at her place. Sarah stood up. You have some nerve. Jessica didn't flinch. I'm not here to fight. I'm here because you need to hear something. Sarah scoffed. What? But the baby's not his. Already know. I blinked. Jessica ignored her. I'm keeping it. And I'm going to raise it without any of this toxicity around. But you need to stop dragging Mike through hell just because you're angry. You asked for this. You said see other people, remember? I didn't mean betray me. Sarah shouted. At this point, half the cafe was watching. A few people had their phones out. I gave you honesty, Jessica said. And you tried to burn everything down. Sarah stood there, shaking. You don't get it. He was my person. You don't get to take that. I didn't take anything, Jessica said. You threw him away. Sarah's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't let them fall. She turned to me. You really never loved me? I did, I said. But not like this. Not with lies and revenge. That's not love, Sarah. That's control. She looked at both of us, then picked up her bag and walked out. No more screaming. No more threats. Just silence. The aftermath was quiet. The HR investigation wrapped up and I was cleared, no wrongdoing. Just a misunderstanding with anonymous claims. People at work didn't forget, but they stopped whispering. Some of our old friends reached out. Some didn't. Jessica and I kept our distance. She was focused on the pregnancy and her own life. We talked sometimes, but there was no romance left between us. Too much damage. Too many lines crossed. As for Sarah, she disappeared again. Deleted her Instagram. Moved out of state, I heard. Through the grapevine, I learned she was seeing a therapist. I hope that's true. I hope she gets better. Me? I'm still here. Still in Boston. Still in the same apartment, though it feels different now. Emptier. But quieter, too. Looking back, I learned the hard way that love isn't about freedom or control. It's about respect. And once that's gone, it's not love anymore. I regret a lot. But I don't regret walking away when I did. Sarah lost herself trying to win a game no one should have been playing. Jessica found strength she didn't know she had. And me? I'm not healed yet. But I'm awake now. And sometimes that's the first step. I'm not sure what comes next. But for the first time in a long time, I'm okay not knowing.